All right, guys, I am sitting here with an amazing friend, and I want her to share a little bit of her story with you today. Miss Melanie, can you tell us what was it that initially brought you to the office? How did you find your way here?
A friend actually referred me. I had been complaining about lower back pain for a few months, and she had mentioned that she'd been coming to see Kevin for a few years and just asked Kevin, have you ever adjusted anybody in a wheelchair before, anybody that's paralyzed before? And Kevin had, and they talked about, if I'm not comfortable transferring onto the bench, that he could adjust me in my chair, which was a huge benefit because sometimes the pain is too much to be able to transfer. So Amy just kind of asked those questions for me up front, and that's what brought me here.
Oh, and I'm so glad that it did.
I know.
If you feel comfortable, can you share a little bit of the backstory on why we're in a wheelchair?
Yeah. So when I was 16, I was hit by a semi, and I was a passenger in the car, and the semi hit the corner of the car and kind of drug us down the road for a mile or so and spit us out. I knew that I was paralyzed right away. My legs just felt like really big balloons, and my hand touched it, but I couldn't, my leg couldn't feel it, and my brain freaked out a bit. And ever since then, my pain, typically what happens is with people that are in wheelchairs and that are paralyzed, you have muscle spasms because your muscles are atrophying, they're dying because they're not being used, and so they spasm. I've never had that. What I have is neuropathic pain. Okay. I don't have any spasms, but I have the neuropathic pain. So a couple months after my accident, we went to Mayo Clinic because nobody around here in Iowa, mind you, this was back in '93.
Sure.
No one knew what it was. And so we went to Mayo, and they said, the message from your brain is being sent down your spinal cord. It's short circuiting where that break happened. And so it's sending the message back to your brain that something is wrong, as if I didn't already know.
Yeah.
So it caused me the pain. And so I had been on some kind of pain medication every day ever since I was 16. And I'm 45.
Wow.
Part of that medication was gabapentin, which I would say to anybody, if you can avoid being put on gabapentin, please do. Ask questions. Find other alternatives. So coming here was really got me the courage, and talking to Kevin, talking about my entire situation of my quality of life.
Yeah.
I had no quality of life. I took 3,000 milligrams of gabapentin a day prescribed by my doctor for the nerve pain. So all I did was, I was a zombie throughout the day, and the minute I got off work, I went to bed.
Wow.
That was my life all the time for years. Come to find out that gabapentin is a part of the reason for I think for everybody, but mostly for people that are paralyzed. Since we're not up using our legs, it causes really a lot of swelling. And so swelling in the legs and feet can cause a real big problem for someone who's in a chair. That happened to me. I got a pressure sore, and the swelling never allowed that pressure sore to actually heal. I had numerous surgeries. I had my Achilles tendon removed. I had skin grafts completed. My parts of the bone in my foot were removed. Thousands of dollars, numerous months on leave from work, all for a foot that I couldn't use anyway. But it's still a part of you. And so for 8 years, I went through this. And then in January of 2018, the pressure sore came back, and I just finally said, I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. So that summer, we amputated above the knee. Had I not been on, it really makes you wonder, had I not been on gabapentin for so many years, when that pressure sore had started, somebody said, we can't keep contributing to the swelling, if I would have really had to amputate. So coming here has been a huge success story for me because I went from, and gabapentin wasn't the only medication I was taking. I was on 5 different medications that I was taking daily, and so I was just drugged all the time. There's a lot of that 8 years that I don't even remember.
Yeah. So what made you build up the courage to say, all right, I think I can start getting off this? Like, or what was that light bulb moment?
Well, for me, a lot of it was when my husband died.
Yeah.
When Gage died in 2017, it put a lot of things into perspective of me that you don't have all the time that you think that you do. And I regretted that time that I was with him when I was all drugged up like that, because there's a lot of memories that I have of me engaged that I don't have anymore. Just because I was so high all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a part of it. But then just talking to Amy and talking to Kevin about giving it a shot. And over my 20 some years that I've been in a chair, I have taken myself off the medication for a month at a time to see, because when you're on that much medication, you don't even really know if you even still need it. Right. Because you're so drugged. Right. So I would take myself off every once in a while to understand, do I still need this? And I still had the pain. But coming here and I think getting adjusted and being in that mental space of this is going to turn into a better quality of life for me. And then talking to you and getting on Yoli, the combination of those supplements and the change in eating and coming here and getting off the meds has just been a complete change for my life.
Because how many medications are you on now?
0.
Woo! That's incredible.
Yeah. It's the first time since I was 16 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what have you gained back from that? I know you feel like you've lost some part of your life during those few years. What have you gained now, and what are you looking forward to moving forward?
Well, remembering, that's a big part of it. And just being able to get out there and do things with people again. Because I was so exhausted all the time, I didn't do a lot. I didn't have much of an outside life from home. And so it's been nice to go get back on vacations and go back out with people that I know and that I see. And, COVID doesn't help with being stuck in your home, but it's been nice. I feel like, I almost kind of feel like the Melanie I was before my accident.
Wow.
And I haven't felt like that, ever.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So if someone is out there struggling with something similar that you are struggling with, what can you tell them as far as like a mindset shift? Like what helped you to shift that mindset so they can start digging themselves out of that hole and start paying attention to themselves? And
I mean, it's different for everybody. Rock bottom is different for everybody, right? And so for me it was Gage dying. And I mean, really think about how long it took me to come to this mindset. And so hopefully a lot of other people don't take that time to get there. One thing that I would say is you just have to advocate for yourself. When you go to see doctors, just because your doctor says this is the medication you should be on, that doesn't mean you have to be on that medication. You don't have to do what that doctor says. Get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Talk to a doctor that is not so driven by making money for the pharmaceutical world.
Because they probably told you for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'll be on this medication for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So my doctor that I'd had for years here, he is retired, so he doesn't even know that I've gotten off all the medication. I have a new doctor now who loves everything that I'm doing. He has his own practice. He doesn't prescribe any kind of narcotics anymore. He's trying to be much more holistic himself. And so I'd like to get Kevin and him together.
Yes.
Because I think that would work out. That would be a good connection.
Now we're going to have a lot of people interested in learning who that is.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Melanie, I could tell you that you are a different person from the first day that I met you. And I'm thankful that God planted you here in our office. And
Thank
I'm
you.
excited.
Thank you, you guys, your team. You're amazing. You're flexible, you're nice, you're sweet, and you're funny, and you're accommodating, and I just love it.
Well, thank you for letting us celebrate you.
Yeah.